Hey everybody, welcome to KimmelsIrishPub.com. Time for another movie review. Tonight's movie is called First Kill. Not sure why I haven't seen it before. I think I might have seen it a couple times advertised. And I'm like, well, why haven't I watched it? It has Bruce Willis in it and Christian Haydenson. Looper, right? Is that what, or Jumper. Jumper, not Looper. Looper has Bruce Willis in it, but and Gordon Levitt. And not Christian Hayden. He was in Jumper and the Star Wars prequels. So that's where you know him from. You know Bruce Willis from that very popular Christmas movie, Die Hard, amongst many other films. He's great. So I'm like, why didn't I watch it? Well, when you pull it up on Rotten Tomatoes, 15% by the critics, 30% by the audience. IMDb has it at a 4.9. So very low expectations on this film. Evidently, Christian Haydenson plays some sort of father figure, a big Wall Street to-do, and he's trying to reconnect with his son. And to do that, he takes his family, I think, on a hunting trip. And during this hunting trip, he witnesses a robbery and a murder, or maybe not, something, that he shouldn't have witnessed. And then, something's going to happen, I think, that he has to fight for. I don't know what's going to happen. He sees that, and then I believe maybe they kidnap his son or something like that. Not 100% sure, but it seems like an interesting concept. It's got one really good actor in Bruce Willis and another known actor as Christian Haydenson. So we'll get into it. I don't know. I mean, obviously I didn't watch it before because I had other higher ranking movies, but you got to watch them all, see what they're like. Maybe I found us a gem. I'll get into it here a little bit. I'll let you know how it's going. Thanks for tuning in. KimmelsIrishPub.com. Hey everybody, I want to do a quick check-in here. We're watching First Kill. We're at the 43-minute and 59-second mark. And it kind of just made a turn. So the beginning of it's pretty good, as I had mentioned, or maybe, no, I didn't even mention. So this Hayden Christensen character has a family, wife and a son. The son is being bullied at school. 4 times. 4 times he's been hit in school. It's like, I mean, something's got to be done about that. But I get it. It's part of the movie. Something's got to be done at that school, with those teachers, with the bully's parents, whatever. I'm not going to get into that now. We all know how I feel about bullying. I can't stand it, and I hate that. But anyway, that's, I guess a catalyst for Hayden Christensen to take his son hunting. So they go back to where he grew up, and they're going to go out and hunt some deer, which is great. And it teaches them how to shoot a gun, a little bonding, stuff like that. They finally go out to get a deer, and then here come 2 people into the woods, and they're arguing. Where's the bag, that kind of thing. And one guy then shoots the other guy, but just in the shoulder, knocking him down. And Hayden Christensen and his son see this. His son gasps, and then they know that they're there, so he starts shooting at them. And of course then Hayden Christensen just shoots that guy and kills him. Well, that guy ended up being a cop. Okay. Whoops. You didn't know. Self-defense, whatever. They take the other guy back to the house, the first guy who got shot, patch him up, and then they were going to go call an ambulance, but the guy wakes up and now has his son, kidnaps his son, and says, well, the other thing that happened when the 2 guys were arguing, they threw a key, and the kid said, I know where the key is. And so now he wants to take the kid back to the spot to get the key, so him and Hayden Christensen go back to the spot. When they get back there, real cops are there, or I think the other guy was a cop, but he wasn't in uniform, whatever. And so then when the cops show up, the bad guy and it takes off with the kid in the car, and then Hayden Christensen chases him, whatever. And this is kind of where I'm like, okay, now the cops are involved. Let the cops know what happened and work to get this done. And of course the guy says to Hayden Christensen, you find that key, I'll give you your son for the key. So that's the whole thing. They want to make a trade so the guy can get the key to whatever's in there. Probably money from a bank robbery, right? So instead of Hayden just telling the cops all the truth, and Bruce Willis is the chief of police, and allowing them to help, he proceeds to lie to them so that he could secretly find a key and, turn it in so that he can get his son back. I mean, okay, great, you want to get your son back, but I don't know. That's kind of crazy. You know, you're gonna lie to the police about somebody you shot, and the circumstances surrounding everything, just so that you can find a key and give it back. Let them know the whole thing. They could probably help you. I don't know. If that's the case, I guess we don't have the same movie. But I can see now, at least for me, why it might be ranked a little bit lower. So I'll get into it a little bit more. Probably checking in the credits and let you know what I think. Maybe I'll check in one more time if something pops up, but you see where it's going so far. But I'll be back in a little bit. Stay tuned. Hey everybody, we're at the credits, and I'm sorry to report we did not find a hidden gem in this movie. It continued in the path it was taken once it got into the true plot line of the robbery, the bank robbery, the dirty cops, and Levi. So Levi was seems like a regular guy who was involved in the bank robbery, besides the cops that were involved, as I had mentioned earlier. But it turns into what a great guy Levi is. All right, so Levi, told you, he gets shot. He kidnaps Hayden Christensen's son. Whatever, he's trying to use that as collateral so that Hayden Christensen can help him get the money, or the key to the money, all that stuff. But it's so, and then they try and build him up. The reason Levi's doing the bank robbery is because of his girlfriend's mother is sick, so he's trying to get the money. So, at first, on the surface there, I'm like, okay, that's good. You see why the motivation behind it. At least they're trying to make him seem not like a bad guy. He's treating the kid all right. He's been letting him play video games and everything like that. It's like, okay, and it still gets, it's still not that bad. Then it gets to this moment. So I also mentioned this Danny character, the kid, was getting bullied at school 4 times, which we don't like. Well, Levi and Danny, who have now been together for approximately, I'm going to say 4 hours, have now built this bond that it's, he starts, helping Danny deal with his bullies, telling him how he's going to act. He's so tough now because he's dealing with all this. And he gives him this motivational type speech on how he can, protect himself and stand up to bullies. And as he's doing it, there's music in the background, like so dramatic. It's so absurd. It's like, okay, they're bonding, they're best friends, and so it even goes even further. So at the end, hopefully I'm not ruining this. If anybody goes to watch this movie, I wouldn't recommend it, but I won't spoil it. But at the end, there's a point where Danny's there, his mother's there, and Levi's there, and when the action dies or whatever, Danny and his mom's there, and she's tied up, but Levi's gotten shot. So when the action dies and now Danny can run, he runs to Levi instead of his mom, who's probably like 10 feet away, who he hasn't seen, who's actually tied up with a gag on. Instead of running to that person, he runs to Levi, this bond that these two had. So, a little ridiculous. The acting wasn't that great. Another part of the movie was like they're trying to figure out where everybody is, and Aunt Dottie, whose cabin they go to, some cop out of nowhere shows up, or she calls him and he shows up, who knows. But she's like, okay, we're gonna go here, and like she says the post office and then something else, and then she goes, okay, and we're gonna meet right here. She happens to know exactly where they are. If you watch the movie, it's absurd. She kind of like looks at a map. And because they're out in the woods somewhere, like nobody knows where they are unless they got the directions to the place. But she points at it on the map and takes the cop right there. So that was a little ridiculous. So I get the reason the scores are low. I think maybe it might have had a little potential. I mean, how many robbery movies can you show that cops are bad? Dirty cops and things like that. So there was nothing really different here except for how poor it was done. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a 5, maybe a 6. The only reason I'm thinking a 6 is because Bruce Willis is in it. But no, I mean, yeah, I'm going to save you some time, and I'm going to save you right now. No reason to watch this movie. I think you've heard everything here. I would not recommend it, but I guess that's why I passed it over how many different times. But if you want to watch it, go ahead. Let me know what you think. But I wouldn't recommend it. It's a 5 from Kimmel's Irish Pub. I don't want to go on any further. I've wasted enough of your time because they wasted enough of mine. Alright, see you next time. KimmelsIrishPub.com